Well, we can't complain about the temperatures we've had today, can we? 70s again today. Don't get used to it. Mother Nature's got some wrenches to throw into the mix here, and looks like a cool down is coming again. We'll talk about that in tonight's video update here in just a second. Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Thanks for logging on. It is 7:45 here Eastern Time, 6:45 Central Time if you're logging on the Courier and Press site, or you're down watching us on YouTube from the Evansville Central Time Zone. Thanks for logging on for everyone that's watching us. A little bit of light rain moving around the area tonight. We'll talk about that here in just a second. The big story is going to be the cooler weather that we could have on our way, even the potential for some severe weather a little bit later in the week. We'll talk about that all in tonight's video. By the way, tonight's video is sponsored by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless dent repair needs. Folks, they have a great traveling hail team. They are PDR Nation certified, so when you take your work to them, you can know that your vehicle is going to be returned as good as it possibly can. They do a great job with their paintless dent repair. Folks, you can see some of their before and after pictures down here in the graphic at the bottom of the graphic here. So write their number down. Tell them Southern Indiana Weather sent you. You may need that later this week. We're talking about the potential. It's not a big risk for severe weather, but it's there. We'll talk about it here along with a cool down behind that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at what we can expect tonight and tomorrow. All right, we've got a little bit of light rain around here as we got satellite and clouds into motion. Temperatures here at a little bit before 8 p.m. are still not bad at all. We're talking low 70s and even some upper 60s around the area. You certainly can't beat that by any means. Let's take a look at future radar, and what I want you to see is it's not a big deluge of rain coming our way. It's just very spotty in nature. In fact, it's pretty gone pretty quickly here. We are 5 a.m., 6 a.m., by 7 a.m., 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, folks. It's going to be out of here. So I think tomorrow we'll start off with a few morning clouds, but turn into some very beautiful sunshine in the afternoon. Those cold north winds are going to keep our temperatures down, though. If we take a look at our temperatures tomorrow, I know recording this video a little bit late tonight, so if you're logging on here on Tuesday morning to watch our video, here's what you can expect for the day. Going to start out probably around the upper 50s to the low 60s temperature-wise across the area. And then by the afternoon, I want you to notice that we don't warm up that much at all. Really, maybe near the 60-degree mark up around Bloomington to the mid-60s by the time you get down to Evansville, and then everything in between. So not a very warm day tomorrow compared to what we've had. Certainly warmer than what we've seen all winter long. But our normal high is now 70, so some of us are going to run a good 5 to 10 degrees below normal tomorrow, and it looks like we're going to have that to deal with a little bit later on during the outlook as well. We've got a very powerful cold front that's going to move in later this week, which we'll go ahead and talk about now. We do run a very, very, very minor chance for some severe weather. Notice you've got a very long, elongated low pressure. It's not an impressive looking low pressure. Let me just go ahead and draw it on here so that you can get an idea where we're at. I'll change the color on here to draw the cold front for you. What we're looking at here is during the afternoon hours, say around 2 p.m. or so on Thursday. Boy, that is a terrible looking 2 p.m., but I never was very good at drawing anyway, folks. But we're looking here at about 2 p.m. on on Thursday. All right. And what we're going to take a look at here, no, we're not looking at 2 p.m., we're looking at 0Z, we're looking at 8 p.m., so this is the evening hours. I ought to get my times right if I'm going to do this. All right, so we're looking at the evening hours before this cold front moves in. We've got a minor risk associated with this. Let me show you the wind energy with this. We've looked at some of these charts before. I know they can be confusing, but we'll just stroll through a couple of them, and I won't bore you down with the details. And a very powerful upper level low pressure that's going to be the driver behind this. Some very strong upper level winds. What you've got here is some 60, 70 knot winds up in here, but as you approach this way, you've got winds diving down like this, and then you've got winds moving more like this. As we are in the exit region of this, what we call a jet streak, we are in the divergence, which provides the best lift and the most conducive environment for severe weather. Now, it's not a huge chance for severe weather, but it's certainly there. We're only talking about 50 knot or so winds in the mid-levels, about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. That's not impressive for severe weather, but it's enough. We take a look at our low-level jet, the winds around 3,000 to 4,000 feet, maybe 5,000 at most up. It's what, if you look up at the clouds and you see the low-level clouds just whipping on by, that's what you see. We're only talking 30 to 40 knots in the low-level wind, which is enough for severe weather, but it's not overly impressive either. So we've got enough wind energy that I think we could see something fire. Instability will be the biggest concern. Right now it looks to me very limited instability. As you can see, some very light shades of gray at the most, and it looks like it's excuse me, It looks like it's basically confined mostly to the cold front. So think as we take a look at future radar here in a second, what you're going to see is that it's basically going to come alongside of a cold front as it moves through. And I thought I had future radar pulled up here, but I'm not seeing that. All right, hold on a second. Let me pause the video and pull this up because this is too important. I want you to see what I'm talking about. All right, my apologies. Let me pull it up in this. I don't normally use this, but I think this will show us a better view for the future radar than some of the other products I use. What we're taking a look at here is about the 20. We're looking at here on the 24th, which is Thursday, and we're taking a look at 8 a.m. in the morning. You can see we've got some convection going on to our west. The line of thunderstorms. Watch how this line of thunderstorms evolves through the day, but then as it goes throughout the day, it sort of breaks up by the time you hit about maybe 5 p.m. here. By the time you get about to 8 p.m. on Thursday night, what you see is the line maybe starting to form, and then it moves through. Now you notice some deeper shades. This is not the high resolution data. This is the regular NAM. High resolution models don't see out here yet, but we notice that by the time you get to the end of the model, it's moved through fairly early. Here's by 2 a.m. and it's all through. So right now it looks like it's going to move anywhere from here's at 7 p.m. Here's 11 p.m. and then here's 2 a.m. So it's a very fast moving line of storms. Now let me go ahead and translate this back to what we're experiencing here. A very narrow window of instability, and it looks like right along that line of storms that I showed you on future radar is about all that we can expect for this. So it's not going to be a huge risk for severe weather by any means. We've got some good parameters that are okay with this, and we've got some parameters that are just kind of with it. For example, we've got the lifted index, and anything in the colored shades and above are good, but what you see is, again, it's very narrowly focused right to where that line of storms and as it moves through. So the good lift is only going to be limited to a very narrow band of storms. We're not talking about a huge outbreak here. We're talking about one line moving through the way things look right now. And this is, let me just put it this way. We have some things that could go in favor of severe weather, and we have some things that would go not in favor of severe weather. All right, so instability being very low would go not in favor of severe weather. Whenever you've got wind energy that's looking like this, that would go marginally in favor of severe weather. It's not absolutely impressive like you would see if it was 100-knot wind, but it's enough to support it. So for right now, the predictability, according to the Storm Prediction Center, is too low to issue an outlook this far out for it. Now, remember, this far out in their day 4 outlooks, they only issue 30% risks anyway. I agree with them. The predictability is way too low. I would not see a 30% risk out of this. I do think that somebody will probably be outlined with a 15% low end slight risk out of this. That could include us. So we'll see how that evolves over the coming days, but just keep that in mind. We'll mark Thursday as a chance for some severe weather. Right now, the way I've worded it in the forecast is just the chance of some strong storms. I'm not convinced that it will be severe, although I wouldn't rule out a warning or two. Maybe we'll be outlined in a slight risk, maybe we won't. We'll watch the models over the coming days and see how this works out. Now, the bigger story is behind this cold front. Once it moves through and a reinforcing cold front later on in the weekend, we've got some cooler weather to deal with. Let's take a look at our temperatures here. And here we are. You can look at your raw data up here, but you can also look at it on a plot, and here you can see. Say goodbye to the 80s because they're going to be pretty much gone, and then watch how temperatures plummet. Here's your 60-degree temperature right here, and whoop, there goes your high temperatures down back into the 40s and 50s for a few days by the time next week rolls around, according to the GFS. In fact, if we just take a look at it, you can see it right here by the time you get to about the 28th or so, which of course the 28th I believe would be next Monday. You can see those temperatures slowly moving down. GFS is wanting to paint a picture of even the low 40s possible. The Euro is painting a very similar idea, only it starts at about a day earlier. It says the 27th, which is Sunday rather than Monday. We could see this. So there's some timing issues on when this cooler shot will come in, but all the models are lining up now and saying that we're going to see a shot of cooler air. Now, and I say that, this is the ensemble forecast from this morning from the GFS. And notice that it's significantly warmer. But both of these models were run well after this ensemble forecast was run, so I'll be curious to see when the next ensembles come out if we see this lower any. Right now, it does look like we've got a cool down coming into play, and both models, both of our big players in the model worlds are agreeing for a cool down. So, unfortunately, winter, even though it's off the calendar, seems to have its death grip on us and just doesn't want us to stay into the 70s. It looks like we could be facing high temperatures in the 40s and 50s again. Climate Prediction Center also agrees with that. If we take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlooks rather, excuse me, and the 8 to 14 days you can see below normal on both of those as well. So we will keep an eye on this, and hopefully it won't pan out, but the way things are starting to shape up right now, it's not looking pretty. All right, let's take a look at your forecast here. SouthernIndianaWeather.com. We're going down again, upper 50s tonight for your low, basically cloudy, scattered showers around. A few rumbles of thunder. It'll be clearing out. Probably some clouds around early in the morning, but it'll turn mostly sunny. Cooler with a high around 65. Again, another cool day on Wednesday shaping up. Then on Thursday, we got a chance for some strong thunderstorms are possible, mostly cloudy. Scattered showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly in the evening times. I think we may see a little bit of prefrontal rain, but not a whole lot. It's going to be limited, I think, more to the evening from the way you saw it on future radar. Warm with a high of 77. Friday, we go up to 75 under partly cloudy skies. A very slight chance of those early in the day, and I think that's probably going to be taken out of the forecast as time goes on. Once that cold front really has a chance to move past us, though, that's when the temperatures really go down into the 60s on Saturday, and then I'm even taking us into the mid-50s by Sunday based on the latest data. And of course, as you saw, based on this, some of the models even want to hint at us going into the 40s for a high by the time next Monday, Tuesday rolls around. So we will see how that pans out. Hopefully it doesn't, but certainly we've got that risk. And you notice here we've got a low temperature I'm forecasting right now on Sunday night, next Monday morning, of 38 degrees. That is flirting with frost conditions again. So we'll have to monitor that. And if we get high temperatures only into the 40s, I can guarantee you we will end up having some frost and freeze conditions go out, with lows probably in the low 30s or upper 20s with those. So that's certainly something we don't want to see, but understand that it's possible. So heads up now. I know it's should be spring planting season right now, but what's that old rule of thumb? Don't plant before Mother's Day because Mother Nature's too unpredictable. Boy, she's really showing us that this year, isn't she? Winter just keeps hanging on, even though it's not winter anymore. It's just yet another cool shot. As I have said in several of my videos past, folks, the pattern has not changed. All the thing that's changed is the season. So, and you remember all winter long, we would have these major cool downs where we would go 20, 30 or more degrees below normal, and it seemed like it would last for 3 or 4 days, and then we'd warm up and we'd only be 10 or 15 degrees below normal for a good long time, warm up to a couple of normal days, maybe go above normal one, and then the whole pattern would repeat itself. That's sort of the same pattern that we're in right now. And if I tell you, folks, our normal temperature is 70, so yes, if we end up with a high temperature only in the 40s or 50s, yes, we're looking at 20 to 30 degrees below normal again. Same exact pattern we had in the winter. The only difference is it's not as brutal right now because we're warming up because of the sun angle being higher in the sky with the changing seasons. But the pattern has not changed, so look for a cool down to come after this. Eventually the pattern will change, but right now I'm not seeing an end in sight to it. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but better to know and be prepared. All right, so just sort of to recap everything that we have seen tonight. Nice and warm, 60s and 70s for a good little while. Cooler next week. Chance of some strong thunderstorms on Thursday. We'll be watching it, and we will see how it goes from there. That is it for tonight's video, folks. We'll have another one of these for you tomorrow. For Southern Indiana Weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night.